Hey all, what's up everybody? Tim from the LV with today's SE. Hope wherever you're at you're doing awesome. Thanks so much for tuning in. So the title for today's clip is For the Brokenhearted. And I want to take a bit of a departure from typical high energy, rah-rah motivational success stuff that I typically throw out there to kind of look at a more realistic but sobering perspective. And that is that life can really suck. And sometimes we can go through some just horrendous situations and difficulties that don't make any sense and are just absolutely things that we never could imagine happening, or our deepest fears come to pass and it just absolutely tanks us. And it's like taking a slap shot to the head. So this clip is going to be for the brokenhearted. And, you know, if you've watched any of my stuff over the last couple months, you are familiar with some of my story, and I'm not going to rehash that. But I've been through some pretty challenging, tough times in the last 5 years, and I know a lot of you have too. Some of it's worse, some of it's not. But the fact of the matter is, whatever you're going through is important to you. So what I'd like to offer up is a couple suggestions on things that I found helpful, both immediately and long term, that hopefully will help you if you're going through something major, and even if you're not, because the little things can break us down. And even if we're not going through major things, there comes a time when we will, because the fact of the matter is, none of us are going to get out of life alive. Every relationship we have is going to end on this side of eternity, and we're not going to take anything we have with us. So everything at some point is going to pass away from us. The important thing to remember is that we maximize the life and the days that we do have to get the fullness out of them that we can. So things that I found helpful when going through really, really tough times, when I was going through a state of brokenheartedness, number one is that it's okay to be brokenhearted. It's okay to experience that sorrow, that discouragement, that loss, especially if it's for things like death, relationships blown up, etc. And it can be even things like loss of a job or other significant things that occur that can really just break you down. And you got to go through a grieving process. You got to go through that period of sorrow. Allow yourself to experience those emotions, because if you don't, you're not going to be a healthy person. Now, I don't think it's good to stay in those states forever, but you need to give yourself the time that it takes to heal to the point where you can return to your life and make something of your life. That brings us into the second point, and Steve Jobs said that a lot of times the dots only connect looking backwards. What that means is many times we go through stuff and we don't understand why we're going through it. There isn't a reason, there doesn't seem to be a reason. No way on earth could this have any benefit. We didn't ask for it, but it was handed to us. And a lot of things that I've gone through, although they've seemed horrendous at the time, have actually been some of the best learning experiences and shaping experiences for me, even if they were really, really awful. Even in the case of death, and I miss those people greatly, and I still experience times of sorrow over them. I've looked at their lives as legacies and as people who taught me things that I'm now to embody and to pass on to other folks. So, I didn't see it at the time, but I see it on the back end, so that no matter what we experience, there is another side to it. And looking back, a lot of things that we do go through do make sense down the road. Third thing is that a lot of times the things that affect us are the things that shape us the most, right? They're the things that are going to benefit us and really shape us into the people we need to be to get to where we want to go, and more importantly, to help others get to where they need to go. You think about Lincoln and Oprah, right? Abraham Lincoln and Oprah Winfrey. These people each experienced significant losses and tragedy, death, business losses, physical, sexual abuse. And they decided at some point that they were bigger than their circumstances, that they were going to define their circumstances. Their circumstances weren't going to define them. And they were going to use them as fuel and make something awesome of their lives and make the maximum contribution that they could. And they become inspirations to millions and millions of people. You don't ever know who's looking at you. Could be your kids, could be your relatives, your spouse, brother, sister, friends, family members, people at work, people you don't even know. People down the road who are going to benefit from your story. Your story's not over as a result of this, right? The sun will come out again. Spring always follows winter. So your story's beyond you, and it's designed, I believe, to benefit others. There are people who are going to benefit based off of the encouragement and the lessons that you're learning that can hopefully save them similar heartache and grief and help them through the process of whatever it is that they're going through. So you're not going through this by accident. It has a purpose. Next thing is, don't ever believe that your life doesn't have meaning. Regardless of the size of the loss or the difficulty, your life has meaning, and there is a tomorrow. If those things and people were meant to remain in your lives and you needed them to be successful and get to where you were going, they'd still be there, but they're not. So you are able to live a life of impact and fulfillment beyond them. Otherwise, they'd still be there. If a relationship goes away, as sad as that is and as tough as that is, and after you take the time to find out who you are, reground yourself, somebody else is waiting. And I believe somebody better is waiting. If you lost a job, you can get another job. And like I said, even if somebody dies and moves on and passes out of your life, do you grieve? Yes. Are you sad? Yes. But they gave you a tremendous message in the values that they taught you. And then I believe we're responsible to live the values that impacted us and teach those to other people so they don't die, so they don't go away. So we become a living legacy for them, and they live on through us. And the final point is that, and this can sometimes be really, really hard to believe depending on what's going on, it's a simple fact that God's not abandoned you. This isn't a surprise to him. He loves you more than anybody, like the Hope Diamond. The Hope Diamond has immense value. It has flaws, it has difficulties, but it has priceless value. Same thing is true of you. And this isn't a surprise to him. And he can take your ashes and turn them into something beautiful and magnificent. And what's meant to destroy you, when you work together with him, you can build something that not only benefits you, but becomes magnificent and benefits all of us. So those are the things that I learned that helped me. I'm not trying to trivialize or patronize anybody, but my heart just went out to those folks who are experiencing those difficulties, and I know a lot of you are, and it can be tough. I want to encourage you that there is a tomorrow, that better days are ahead, and that this isn't the end. It can actually be a new beginning, and your life is going to look different, but ultimately you have the decision as to what you're going to do with this, right? We can't affect and control what happens to us, but we can totally control how we respond to it. And you might not be in a position now to do that, but at some point you're going to be. And the important thing is to take, the bull by the horns at that point and not let this beat you. You use this to better you and use this to fuel you and to do and achieve everything that you're here to do, because there is magnificence in you. You matter, you have purpose, you have value, we need you. And that's pretty cool. So hope you found value in this and are encouraged. And if you're in that situation, keep going. Take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, one moment at a time if you need to. But don't give up. Keep going and keep believing. Tim from the LV, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.